All right, diving right in today. We're going to get into the art of communication, those social skills we all need,
Ah,
our trusty guide,
yeah.
how to talk to anyone.
Leo Loundis. Classic.
Classic. This deep dive, we're extracting the good stuff, the practical stuff, the techniques anyone can use.
All that.
Become a more confident communicator.
Yeah.
Avoid those pitfalls.
Right.
We're talking decoding body language,
Yeah.
making small talk not suck.
Oh, yeah.
Even some business savvy tips in here.
Nice.
Now this is just a taste, just highlights. There's a whole lot more in the book, but
I think what's so cool is, like, Lowndes breaks it down, right? Charisma, we think it's this magical thing.
yeah.
She makes it steps. It's a skill set.
Okay, so unpack that first bit. First impressions, she says, happen before you even speak.
Absolutely. 80%, she says, 80% someone's opinion formed in those first moments.
Yeah.
Nonverbal cues, like, huge.
Have you noticed that, like, out in the world?
Oh, yeah. All the time. She's got this technique, hang by your teeth. Ridiculous, but
I've done it.
it works. Like you're biting a circus bit, walking through a door.
They instantly stand taller. Like, confidence just oozes out of you, you know?
That's why good posture, success, they're always linked, right?
Do you think it's that?
I think so. It's signaling. Lowndes even talks about lawyers, how they use body language to read jurors, can make or break a case.
Oh.
So think about that in your life, job interview, first date, it matters.
Okay, small talk. Makes me want to, like, hide in a corner.
The worst, right?
Lowndes, though, she's like, no, it doesn't have to be dreadful. What's the key takeaway?
Mood matching, that's it. Don't stress about the perfect opening line, just match their energy. She tells this story, stuck in an elevator, Mensa geniuses.
That's it.
They start debating, super intense, she's exhausted.
Oh, I bet that was painful to be.
So painful.
Yeah.
And she's like, if they just acknowledge that, the mood, the interaction would have been so much better.
It's like connect first, then get into the content.
Exactly. Connection before content.
So are you saying the words themselves matter less?
Less than how you say them,
Yeah.
for sure. She calls it prosaic with passion. You could talk about the weather, but if you're enthusiastic,
Right.
it's engaging. Think about someone you find captivating. It's their energy.
Oh, that makes me feel a lot better about my go-to lines.
Don't we all have those?
Speaking of which, she has some fun ones, conversation starters.
Oh, yeah.
The what's it technique, you wear or carry something unique.
So clever. It gives people an easy in, right? At a networking thing, imagine unique jewelry, interesting bag, boom, conversation.
Takes the pressure off having to be, like, witty all the time.
Right.
What about when you're at a party and you want to meet certain people?
Who's that? That's your go-to. Ask the host for an intro. Done. Instant connection. No awkwardness.
Have you actually used that one?
I have, actually. At a conference, wanted to meet a speaker, got the organizer to intro us. Way smoother than chasing them down later.
Smart. And there's that other one, joining group convos.
Oh, yeah. Eavesdrop in.
Eavesdrop in.
Respectfully listening. Then when there's a relevant comment, you jump in.
Show you're engaged, natural opening, not barging in with some random.
Totally.
All right, so initial interactions, check. What about making conversations, like, actually meaningful? Lowndes, she's all about getting past those one-word answers.
Deeper. Right.
Deeper.
She's got a technique for that, too.
Does she have a technique for everything?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, give it to me.
Never the naked city. You're asked, where are you from? Yet, don't just state the city. Add a little something, a fun fact, a story.
I like that, like a little bonus detail.
Right. Tailored to who you're talking to. Like
Yeah.
if they're into art, mention a cool museum. History buff, historical tidbits.
It's like you're giving them a little gift, a glimpse into your world.
Exactly. And the same goes for what do you do?
Instead of just the job title.
Nutshell resume, she calls it. Highlight what you do in a way that connects with the listener, their interests, their needs.
Like that real estate agent example, right? I help people find their dream homes. Way better than I sell houses.
So much better.
Have you ever, like, reframed your own work description that way?
Oh, all the time. It's amazing how the phrasing changes everything. Not being misleading, just emphasizing the value.
Okay, so we got first impressions, starting conversations, but what about sounding smart but not, like, pretentious?
Yes.
Lowndes has that communication thing, which I love.
Such a simple concept, but powerful. Shift the focus in compliments from the object to the person. You look great in that suit. Not, that's a nice suit.
It feels instantly more genuine. You're complimenting the person, not the...
It's all about that connection. And speaking of connection, Even a smile can be huge.
Oh, she talks about varying your smile, right?
The flooding smile. Don't just grin instantly. Let it spread slowly. More genuine, warmer.
I'm yeah, that does feel more authentic. What about eye contact? We know it's important, but how much is too much?
She's got us covered there too. Sticky eyes. Hold the contact a beat longer than usual. Shows attentiveness, interest.
The key eyes, okay.
She even mentions waiters who use this for bigger tips.
I gotta try that one. It's amazing how these tiny cues
Right.
have such a big impact.
Huge impact.
And it's not just first impressions, it's keeping that connection going.
Right. For that, she's got encore. Weeks, even months later, you ask someone to retell a story they told you. Shows you were listening.
That's so clever. It makes them feel special. But what about when you can't see them, like on the phone?
Oh, so easy to misjudge on the phone. Lowndes, she talks about this travel agent, sounded snippy on the phone, but in person, delightful.
Oh, yeah.
Shows how important those visual cues are.
So how do you make up for that when you're stuck on a call?
Talking gestures,
Yeah.
she calls it. Use verbal cues instead. Lots of I see, I understand. Use their name more.
Almost like you have to overcompensate. You know?
And don't forget smiling, even on the phone. They can't see it, but they can hear it in your voice.
You know what? I never thought about that. But it's true. When someone's cheerful on the phone,
Instant mood booster.
it's like they're setting the tone, positive.
Exactly. So speaking of phone calls, those gatekeepers, those secretaries.
Oh, don't get me started. Any
Yeah.
tips for getting past them?
The ho-hum caper. Don't ask for the person by name, just casually. Is he in? Like you're a regular.
Does you belong there?
Projects familiarity. And once you do get that VIP on the line, instant replay.
What's instant replay?
Record the conversation.
I always wanted to do that, but felt kind of, is that even legal?
Depends on where you are, so
Okay.
do your research. But Lowndes says it helps you catch details you miss in the moment. Plus, protection. If there's confusion later, you have a record.
Okay, I'm sold. Recording my calls. Now, those situations where you don't have all the answers, stuck talking about something you know nothing about,
Happened all the time.
awkward. What's the lounge move?
Scramble Therapy. Brilliant. Once a month, do something totally out of your comfort zone. Lecture on a topic you don't get. Cooking class. Anything new.
So broaden your horizons.
Yes. But also, you pick up the lingo, the insider questions of that field. She uses scuba diving as an example. One trip, and she could chat with the pros.
Like a crash course in how to talk the talk.
Exactly. And then she takes it further. Read their rags. Subscribe to publications your clients or whoever you want to connect with read.
It's like doing your homework before a big meeting, know what they're into.
Gives you instant credibility. You can speak their language.
I love that. But what about those people who just talk and talk and talk? How do you escape gracefully?
Empty their tank. Let them go on and on until they're done. Don't interrupt. Don't offer solutions right away.
Just let them vent it all out.
Exactly. Once they've emptied their tank, they'll actually be more open to what you have to say.
Yeah.
And to know if they even have the time to listen. What color is your time?
Oh, remind me, I love this one.
You ask, is now a red, yellow, or green time for you? Red, they're slammed. Yellow, a few minutes. Green, free to chat.
Such a simple way to be respectful. You know, this all makes me realize it's about being considerate, even in small talk.
It is. It's about seeing the person. And for those trickier interactions, the difficult people, Lowndes has some great stuff there too.
All right, well, let's get into that then.
Sounds good. So, compliments. You'd think this book's all about, like, heaping on the praise.
Right, right.
Lowndes is actually, she's more subtle.
Really?
She makes a distinction, sincere praise versus empty flattery. We can all spot that, right? Like a kid trying to get something from their parents. So obvious.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So she's got these alternatives.
Okay, like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, carrier pigeon kudos. Instead of praising them directly, you say you heard someone else praising them. So-and-so is just saying how amazing you are at whatever.
Oh, that's good, because it's not you being all, you know.
Takes the pressure off.
Have you ever tried that?
Oh, yeah. Works like a charm. Makes you look good, too, like you're spreading good vibes. She also talks about sharing articles, news items. Hey, I saw this and thought of you.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I do that.
It's like you're curating their world.
In a good way, right?
In a good way.
Yeah.
Shows you're paying attention to their interests.
Absolutely.
Then there's, if you want something subtler, accidental adulation. Sneaking compliments into conversation.
Ooh, sneaky. Like what? Give me an example.
You're obviously been well. Implies they look good, but you're not saying it directly.
I like that. It's like a stealth compliment. I'm stealing that. Okay, but what about when you do want to go all out? Like really compliment someone?
For that, she's got the killer compliment. Specific, impactful,
Yeah.
but rules, private, has to be genuine.
Yeah.
And rare, can't overuse it.
Right, because then it becomes meaningless.
Exactly. Loses its power. But for everyday stuff, with loved ones, little strokes, those little frequent acknowledgments, you appreciate them.
Like a little verbal pat on the back.
Exactly. And then there's the knee-jerk, wow. Right when they do something great, praise them immediately. Capture that moment.
That's nice, yeah. What about when someone completely bombs, like gives a terrible presentation? What do you do?
Tough one. Lowndes, actually, she says. A little white lie.
Really? I'd feel bad lying.
I know, but she's like, sometimes being sensitive is more important than being honest. You know, someone's EO, just a quick, you were terrific. Just some save face.
I guess like when your friend asks how they look in an outfit and it's,
Exactly. Better to be kind. But if you want to go deeper, build connection, she's got the tombstone game. You ask someone, what would you want on your tombstone?
War bib. Okay.
It reveals their values. And then later, you use those words to express appreciation.
Wow, that's powerful. Shows you get them.
Deep stuff. While these compliments, it makes me think, what about receiving them? I always feel awkward.
Well, me too. Like, what do you even say?
Lowndes keeps it simple. Just thank you. No need to downplay it.
Right.
Just accept it gracefully.
Sometimes I try to be humble and it comes off like, I don't know, putting myself down.
We've all been there. Okay, let's switch gears. Phone communication, where you don't have those visual cues.
Oh, yeah, totally different ballgame. I've had conversations where the person sounded annoyed, but then in person, super nice.
Lowndes has this story. A travel agent sounded snippy on the phone, but delightful face-to-face. Shows how important those visuals are.
So what do you do? How do you make up for it when you're on a call?
She talks about talking gestures. You got to use verbal cues instead. Lots of, I see, I understand.
Yeah.
Use their name more often.
You really got to amp it up, huh?
You do. And smile, even though they can't see you. It comes through in your voice.
I never thought about that, but it's true. A cheerful voice.
That makes a difference.
Totally changes the mood. Speaking of phone calls, those gatekeepers, the secretaries.
Worse.
Any tips for getting past them?
Ho-hum caper. Don't ask for the person by name, just casually. Is he in? Or is she in? Like, it's no big deal.
Like you're an insider.
Exactly. And once you do get that VIP on the line, instant replay.
Instant replay? What is that?
Record the conversation.
Is that legal?
Depends on your location. Check the laws. But Lowndes says it helps you catch things you miss in the moment. And if there's confusion later, you've got proof.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm going to start doing that. Now, what about those situations where you don't have all the answers? Like, you're stuck talking about a topic you know nothing about.
Oh, I've been there. So awkward.
Lowndes has a move for that, right?
Scramble Therapy. Once a month, do something totally out of your comfort zone. Lecture on a topic you don't get, a class, anything new.
Just to, like, expand your knowledge.
Yes. But also, you pick up the lingo, the insider questions of that field. She uses the example of scuba diving. One trip, and she could talk to experienced divers.
Like a crash course.
Exactly. Then she takes it further. Read their rags, subscribe to the publications your clients read, or whoever you want to impress.
So you can talk the talk.
You get it. Instant credibility.
Love it. But what about those people who just talk and talk and talk? How do you politely escape?
Empty their tank. You got to let them go on and on. Don't interrupt. Don't jump in with solutions.
Let them get it all out.
They'll actually be more open to what you have to say once they've emptied their tank. And to know if they even have time to listen. What color is your time?
Oh, yes. That's a good one. Remind me.
You ask, is this a red, yellow, or green time for you?
Right. Red, busy, yellow, maybe green. Go for it.
Exactly. It's all about being considerate. You know, through all this, it strikes me it's about being thoughtful. Even in those small interactions.
It is, yeah. Seeing the person, not just the situation.
Yeah.
And for those tough ones, the difficult people, Lowndes has some good strategies there, too.
Oh, yeah, she does. Some really interesting stuff. All right, so difficult people. Lowndes, she's got this technique, echo the emo. It's instead of getting defensive, arguing.
Yeah.
You meet them where they are emotionally.
Yeah.
Acknowledge those feelings.
So you're validating their emotions, even if you don't agree with them. Does that actually work? I feel like it just make them more upset.
It's surprising, but often people just want to feel heard, She gives this example. Dealing with a furious customer, company messed up big time.
Yo, yeah.
And she mirrors that anger. I understand why you're upset. This is unacceptable.
And it de-escalates the whole thing.
So it's like you're not dismissing their feelings, even if they're,
Right. You're acknowledging the validity of their experience. even if they're wrong.
And then what? What about when someone's clearly in the wrong, but you still got to deal with them?
Lowndes has leaving an escape hatch. It's basically you let them save face.
Even if they messed up or lied.
Even then. It's about preserving the relationship, avoiding unnecessary conflict. She tells a story, Lady Stephanie, convinced a guest stole a Fabergé egg.
Oh, wow.
But instead of accusing them, she sets it up so the guest can return it anonymously.
Clever, so they don't have to admit to anything. Exactly. And it worked. The egg reappeared. Sometimes kindness goes further than.
Been calling them out.
Exactly. And speaking of kindness, she has this buttercup technique. You write complimentary letters to someone's boss to gain their favor.
Ooh, sneaky.
It's a way to stand out, make a good impression.
I like it, not being all in their face about it.
Subtle. And then, in group settings, be the leader of the listeners.
What's that?
Be the first to applaud, show appreciation for the speaker. You're signaling that you're engaged, and they remember you.
It's like you're leading by example.
Exactly. Makes the speaker feel good, too.
Hmm.
But even when you're shining, remember the great scorecard in the sky.
Oh, I love this concept. Remind me how it works.
It's about balance in relationships. You give, you take, reciprocate favors, be mindful of what you owe others, strive for that win-win.
It's like we've all got this invisible scorecard, right? Every action adds or subtracts points.
It's a good reminder to be aware of how we treat people.
Mm-hmm.
Are we taking more than we're giving?
What strikes me about all these techniques, it's not about manipulating people.
No, not at all.
It's about being more aware, more considerate in how we communicate.
It's about using these tools to connect with people, make interactions more positive in all parts of life.
I feel like I've learned so much from this deep dive, how to talk to anyone. It's given me so many things I can actually use.
The book's fantastic, so many great insights, but this is just the start. The real magic is taking these ideas and using them.
So think about your day, those conversations you have coming up, a meeting, a networking thing, even just chatting with a friend. How can you use what we talked about to make it better?
Lowndes gave us the map, the tools. Now it's up to us to use them.
This has been awesome. I feel like I can go out there and connect with the world in a whole new way. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.